And here at home in Washington, D.C., it is day 3 now of the Supreme Court confirmation hearings for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. This is her final day to defend her judicial philosophy as well as her record as a judge as she's questioned by the Senate Judiciary Committee. I want to bring in Republican strategist Antonia Ferrier and Democratic strategist Xochitl Hinojosa now for more on that. Antonia, where do you think Republicans have been most effective in terms of trying to show areas of concern about Judge Jackson?
There's no question when they keep coming back to something, and that's on child pornography and her decisions on sentencing, that is clearly an area where they think there is opportunity there. And that's why they keep coming back to it. I also think there were some very interesting lines of questioning that may not make some headlines, but the question that I think that John Cornyn was trying to get to was, did she put her own personal views, did they cloud her judgment? And I think that is what they're trying to get at, both with child pornography, which is obviously abhorrent, and also with what Senator Cornyn was doing, trying to get to whether or not she put her own views ahead of that of the law. And so I think they were both effective.
Xochitl, where do you think Judge Jackson has done particularly well so far? Xochitl, I think you're on mute.
I don't think she's taken the bait on any of the Republican questions. And I think that that is critical for any confirmation hearing. She has been very diligent about talking about exactly how she approached every case and her judicial philosophy moving forward. She's talked about how she hears both sides. She talks a lot about practice and ensuring that there is consistency. She's talked a lot about precedent. So there have been a number of instances where Republicans have tried to trip her up or have tried to get under her skin, and that doesn't happen. And so I think she's doing an amazing job. If anything, she has shown that she is qualified to the American people and to the full panel of the Senate Judiciary.
And Antonia, one of those senators, of course, trying to get under Judge Jackson's skin was Lindsey Graham. They had a whole exchange where he continuously interrupted her. What's the strategy there? Do you think it's a good one, or could that backfire on Graham and any other senator who tries it?
Look, she is a professional woman. She's highly educated. She's professional. She's well accomplished. She can't take the heat here in a difficult line of questioning, then I'm sorry, that questions her qualifications to a certain extent. She's prepared for this. They prepped her for this. So I think what he tried to do was clearly rattle her and see what would happen. She kept her cool, but, Senator Graham knows how to try and push buttons and play to the crowd. He's been doing this for a long time. I think he scored some points there, and I think he got some made-for-TV moments. There have been a lot of commentary about how this is a political theater. It is. This is political. These are politicians. They are elected. And, her questions and her answers over child pornography, I would not be surprised to see them being used in the fall by Republicans. Whether it's right or wrong, or you don't like it or not, that's just what I expect to see.
And Xochitl, how much of this is not just about scoring political points, but also trying to set a precedent for what is expected of future Supreme Court nominees to answer? Because you do frequently hear the previous nominee answered a question about this and that and the other. So how much of this is trying to establish some kind of precedent?
Well, I think it's interesting that Republicans continue to try to distract and bring up Justice Kavanaugh and Justice Amy Coney Barrett. I think the interesting part of this is that because they don't have anything to really highlight in terms of and hit back on it when it comes to Judge Jackson's record. They understand that she is immensely qualified, and so there is no there to their attacks, and they have to resort to other things like bring up previous hearings and confirmation processes. And so one thing I want to mention about Lindsey Graham, though, is that while this might be an opportunity for political theater, it really shouldn't be. And I guess the disturbing part about all of it is that if he wanted to stand up and give a speech about Judge Jackson, then there are plenty of avenues to do that. This hearing is to vet and to ask questions of a nominee for the highest court of the land. It's an extremely serious platform right now. And instead, Senator Lindsey Graham just made a fool out of himself. And it is really, really troubling to see the politicization from Republicans. Instead of really trying to dig through some of the issues, they're trying to really go at it and attack her when she has pushed back, rightfully so, because as Ted Cruz said, there is no there there.
And do you not think that Democrats also use this as an opportunity to be in the spotlight and to grandstand?
Well, I think that, and I should correct myself, it was Mitt Romney who said there was no there there. And I think that Democrats are using this as an opportunity to show that she is extremely qualified. She would be the most qualified person, or is the most qualified person to be nominated to the Supreme Court. That's what the senators are trying to do. They're pushing back when they need to, where you have seen from the chairman and other senators. And they're also trying to highlight her record and how she has been confirmed before, how many members of the panel have confirmed her, have both Republicans and Democrats. And so they are trying to show her independence, her strong record, and really the substance behind Judge Jackson.
Antonia, what do you think Judge Jackson needs to do to get Republican support from any of the Republicans? Is it a possibility?
I think there are a couple. I would also just note that she doesn't have much of a record. She acknowledges that. She's been on the appeals court, the DC Circuit, for less than a year, so she doesn't have much of a record. She also doesn't have much of a judicial philosophy. She was a trial judge. She is not the most qualified person. She is very qualified, but there were a lot of nominees that the president had at his disposal. She has got a very interesting and incredible career trajectory, but in terms of judicial thought and in terms of sort of paving the way in terms of interesting legal discussions and constitutional questions, there's a reason the president of the United States chose her. She does not have a record. Administrations do that. And that's wonderful for her. I expect that she's going to be confirmed to the Supreme Court. She's an incredible life story. She's incredibly smart, incredibly poised, and has done well. But I want to be very clear here. She is going to be, my fear, she is going to be a liberal justice that does not show independence. I hope I'm wrong. She said a lot of incredibly interesting things that make her sound like Justice Scalia, God rest his soul. I hope she is independent. I hope she has interesting lines of thought and inquiry. Right now, I don't hold my hopes up. I think you're going to see some Republicans support her. I would fully expect Susan Collins to do that. She's going to wait until the process is done. Susan Collins has always voted for every Supreme Court nominee she has had before her, Republican or Democratic administration. I'm not so sure about Senator Murkowski. Senator Romney, we'll see, but I would expect she's going to be confirmed, and with at least one Republican vote would be my guess.
Now, Xochitl, she doesn't need Republican support. Assuming she has all the Democrats on board, that's really all she needs, plus a tiebreaker from the vice president. So does it matter if she gets any Republican support?
Well, that's right. She doesn't need Republican support. But I think that the goal from this White House, and it was from the start when they picked former Senator Doug Jones to really lead her through this process. He's someone who is loved by both sides in the Senate and is someone who understands the Senate. And the entire process has been pretty transparent. And the White House's hope is that she does receive some bipartisan support, because she has received bipartisan support throughout her career. Just last year, members of both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party voted to confirm her. And so the hope is that, yes, there is some bipartisan support around this. I think when we're looking at what we do in Washington and what we try to accomplish, it's very rare to find that support from both sides of the aisle. But I think this is one, given her experience, where you will see a few members of the Senate on the Republican side come over and vote for her.
And Antonia, we have heard several people say that she sounds Scalia-esque at times when she is talking about her judicial philosophy. She's talked a lot about regarding the text, going back to the text, the original intent of the text. Do you think that might help get some Republicans on board?
No, I do not. I think this has been a long learning in terms of Supreme Court fights. This was learned after Judge Bork was defeated in the Senate, and that started with Justice Ginsburg and has kept on going all the way through. The judges appointed by or nominated by Democratic presidents have been very consistent in trying to emulate what we're seeing today by Judge Jackson. And I would note that it was, I believe, Elena Kagan who said, we're all originalists now. That's what she said over 10 years ago when she was nominated and confirmed by the Senate to the Supreme Court. This is kabuki theater and performance art. I understand it. They don't want to say anything that could prejudge any cases. I understand that, but we have to understand this is part of the dance. I do not think that what she is saying here today, as well done as she is doing, I do not think it's going to reflect what she will do if and when she is confirmed to the Supreme Court.
All right, Antonia Ferrier, Xochitl Hinojosa, thank you both.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.